Hey guys, it's Razorblade Mango here, and it's time to talk about Microsoft's E3 conference. And, so, this is the one I definitely liked the least, which is really surprising considering a lot of people, the general impression I got from this conference is that people seem to really dig it. And I was surprised. I mean, call me a fanboy, call me a Sony pony, whatever, but I did not think Microsoft did well at all this year. I was really, after it was over, I was so unimpressed and so underwhelmed by what I saw. So, I'll get into all, the Project Scorpio stuff, the 4K thing, whatever, after I talk about the games. Because this is, in case this is the first video you're watching from my E3 series, this is going to be games first, then conference after. Let's talk about the games, because this is what I watch E3 for, the games. Let's talk about the games. The first thing they showed, god damn it, was Forza 7, which, yeah, it looks pretty. Yes, it runs at true 4K 60 frames, but whatever. Whatever. I know there. For me personally, I don't give a fuck about racing games. It's another Forza game. I have to wonder if these guys making Forza are getting tired of this. I really wonder if they just want to break away from this series. But considering how successful they are, and I'm not knocking its success, it's I don't know. Maybe Microsoft has just trapped them into being tied to this franchise for eternity. And what the fuck was that shit about them bringing on a Porsche? An actual fucking Porsche on stage. I've made jokes about them, the habit that they have of bringing cars onto the stage, lowering them from the ceiling or driving them up on stage or having them on a podium. They literally and I was joking before it started, oh, here we go, we're gonna get Forza, we're gonna have them bring on another car. And they literally brought on another fucking car. I was like, guys, you gotta be kidding me. This is a joke at this point. It was fucking ridiculous. No one gives a fuck about this fucking game company trying to sell you a Porsche after you just talked about Forza 7 video game. I was so taken aback by how they thought this was a good idea. It was laughable. And this is how they started. Oh no, they started with a fucking 10 to 15 minute droning of on and on and on about how amazing the specs are on the Xbox One X or whatever. But as far as the games go, no, this was not a good start. Thankfully, it got a little bit better with the next two. Metro Exodus, I like the series. Haven't played them in a while, but I liked what I saw from this. Didn't wow me, but I liked what I'm seeing from Exodus. It looked fake as all hell, though. I want to see actual gameplay. I don't want to see this, really cleanly edited, very obviously fake gameplay, in quotes. So, come on, I could tell. I could tell. I've watched enough of these conferences. I've seen enough of these trailers to know that was fake. That was fake gameplay. That's not what it's gonna be like when the game comes out. It's come on, guys. But it looks interesting. I might give it a go. This might be the good time to jump back into the series. Then they moved on to Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, I have more to say on this during the Ubisoft one, but my god, talk about the industry's worst kept secret. We've known about this game for almost a good year. I want to say more, probably more than a year. And it's finally it's come out. It's like they've held on to this info for so long, and it's here it is. And it was supposed to be this big revelation. It was yeah, I've known about this for a long time. I've known that it's called Assassin's Creed Origins. I know that it's set in Egypt. I know it's an origin story. And just judging by that gameplay demo and that trailer, I was just like, okay. I wasn't really crazy about what I saw. I was not too keen. It looked like another generic Assassin's Creed game, which is not what I was hoping for from what is being, I guess, what was, they're trying to do like this new revitalization of the series, and it just didn't do it for me, at least in this gameplay segment. Now I had a more positive impression of it after seeing it for like 30 minutes at Ubisoft's live stream thing. That was much better. But this 5-minute demo of it, I was not into it. It just looked like the same old stuff to me. And I don't even know, like, after a year break, I'm still kind of burned out on Assassin's Creed, to be honest. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I wish this series had just died a long time ago. It's old. It really, Origins really needs to be like a from the ground up new vision of Assassin's Creed if you really want to win back a lot of people, because it does not look like that. Even though I liked what I saw with Ubisoft's thing, I have concerns about this one. I'm cautiously optimistic. I hope they can do it, because I do like some of the Assassin's Creed games. Like, I really like all the Ezio games, and I love Black Flag, but all the other ones I just did not care for. I didn't like the first game. I really disliked Unity. Did not like Rogue. Did not like Syndicate. Did not like 3. So yeah, I hope this is a home run for Ubisoft. I really do. And with my skepticism on it, I hope to God they don't turn it back into another fucking yearly franchise. That would be the worst thing they could do, is bring it back and then have it fall back into the cycle of like one Assassin's Creed game per year again. No, don't do that. Do one of these every other year, every 3 years for that matter. Then they moved on to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Don't care. Moved on to Deep Rock Galactic. Don't care. Then they moved on to State of Decay 2, which had one of the worst trailers I've ever seen. It had no, like, I'm not just talking about how the game looks. I'm sure the game is fine. It just does not interest me. Didn't interest me when they announced it all the way back last year, but this trailer was like one of the sloppiest things I've ever seen. It was just all this random talking and action and killing and gore. It had like no comfortable flow or pacing to it. It was just a mess. Whereas like I thought like the to give an example, I thought fuck, what's a good example in this series that I haven't talked about yet? Fuck, I don't know. Okay, I guess A Way Out. Like the Way Out cinematic trailer where they showed off the gameplay, that was like comfortable flow, good dialogue, good pacing, you get a sense of what the game is. This was just like, here's all this talking, here's all this shooting, here's all this blood, and it was sloppy. It was just this sloppy ass trailer. I really, really, really kind of hated it. I kind of hated that trailer. So it went on for like way longer than it should have, and it still, by the end of it, I felt the same about the game as I did going into it. Don't care. Oh my god, and then they moved on to this game called The Darwin Project with this fucking bland-ass battle royale game introduced by some dude doing this fucking embarrassing fake shoutcasting. Just don't ever do that again. That was oh, you talk about cringed. Oh, don't ever do that again. Minecraft. God. Fucking Minecraft. Like, of all the games you want to trot out to showcase your nice, pretty 4K console, it's like, why Minecraft? I know Microsoft owns Mojang now, and they're all big on Minecraft, but it was like, come on, guys. It's Minecraft. We don't need to see it. You're taking up precious time at this conference. for Minecraft in 4K, which is already possible on the PC, which is already possible with all these mods and shit, and then they're doing this nice texture pack, and they had a whole nother trailer for that, and they had a whole nother speech about it. It was like, fuck, I cannot stand Minecraft. I can't stand people talking about it. So that bored the fucking shit out of me, seeing Minecraft yet again. My God, stop talking about Minecraft, please, in these conferences. So that was like the first half of the conference. And I was ready to like check out completely. I was just like, I am not seeing anything that is really exciting me. I'm not seeing anything that I would buy an Xbox One X for. And then the second half, I must admit, got better. They moved on to Dragon Ball FighterZ, which looked really good. It looked beautiful, like perfectly captured the art style of the show. I haven't played a DBZ game in ages, probably since the first Budokai. But this might finally be the time that I get back into Dragon Ball Z with this, and it looks good. And I've heard really good things about it from like all the extra gameplay that people have seen and played from it. Like, it looks good. Black Desert, another MMO. No thank you. Then they went on to The Last Night, which I was like, what the fuck is this doing here? This fucking gorgeous Blade Runner-esque 2D platformer. It looked fucking great. Like, I was like, damn, this looks good. Like, I would buy this. I'm into it. And then another one called The Artful Escaped. That looked cool too. Really into that. Code Vein. It was this. They showed a trailer for it like a long time ago when it was first revealed. It's basically like a vampire anime Bloodborne, and it looks awesome. It's developed by and published by Bandai Namco, and I was excited as hell when that popped up. But then it like went away like that. It was so quick. I was like, no. Show me more Code Vein, please. Show me more. And then they just fucked off. I was like, oh, I wanted to see more of that. That looked awesome. Like, I'm so on board for vampire anime Bloodborne. Then they moved on to Sea of Thieves, which is one of the games that I'm actually interested in from Microsoft. And it looks like fun. And it's going to be on PC. I don't really think this particular trailer sold me on it as much as like the 30-minute demo I saw from Angry Joe, and I really liked that demo. And it looked like fun. It looked like a game you could just dick around with your friends, and you go on like pirate adventures and role play, and you play instruments, and you drink, and you get swallowed by sharks, and you go to Davy Jones' locker, and it looks fun. It looks like a nice, goofy, cartoonish pirate game that you play with your friends. It looked good. It's too bad, though, that I don't think this is going to sell very well, and I don't think it will really make that big of a splash on Xbox, which is a fucking shame, because I really want to try it out, and I also just don't know many people who would play this with me. I don't know a lot of people who own an Xbox One. It's all my friends are mostly just PS4 people, and even the people that own Xbox Ones own a PS4. So, yeah, it's just, I don't see this being that big of a success, which is just disappointing to me. Then they moved on to Tacoma, which is that long in development walking simulator, another space walking simulator from the guys that did Gone Home. Meh, don't like Gone Home, so I was like meh when this popped up. Super Lucky's Tale. Now this was probably like the biggest surprise out of all this conference. Is I initially thought it was Conquer, but the way they were like teasing it, showing the tail, I was like, oh shit, are we gonna get Conquer? Are they actually gonna do it? And then it was like, nope, it's a collectathon, it's a platformer, but it's not Conquer. It is a game called Super Lucky's Tale, and it is a sequel to a VR game that was apparently like a big like trying to be an Oculus Rift system seller. It's weird. It's like, it's not VR, but this time it's like a platformer. That's just a regular old platformer, which is fine, because it looked really fucking good. And I hope it's on PC. I'll buy this if it's on PC. It looks fun. Like, I could use a good collectathon after fucking Yooka-Laylee just broke my heart. Cuphead, September 29th. Finally, that's coming out. Not a lot to say about that. I'll most likely buy it day one. Crackdown 3. I liked what I saw from it, but this was a really disappointing showing in terms of, like, what they needed to show to get people excited. And they didn't talk a lot about how the multiplayer works. They didn't talk a lot about the campaign. They just showed like a 3-minute trailer of like Terry Crews, who's apparently like a character in the game, who's like screaming, and then there's a lot of explosions and hip hop and neon, and it was the end. And then it's coming out November something, which I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was like, it happened so quickly and it ended so quickly. Like, for a game that we haven't seen in almost 2 years, that's supposed to be like one of Xbox's biggest franchises, or not franchises, one of their biggest games for 2017, that was disappointing. That they probably focused more on like Super Lucky's Tale than they did on Crackdown 3. They had like a 9-minute demo for Sea of Thieves, and they like talked about Crackdown 3 for like 3 minutes, which makes me really, really nervous about how this is going to turn out. And I remember a long time ago they talked about how, thanks to the power of the cloud, they're going to have like, you know, like a fully destructible multiplayer environment. I wonder if that's still in the game. I mean, they've said that it is, but it's like they really needed to show that. But they didn't. It was just a really disappointing showing for Crackdown 3. Life is Strange, Before the Storm. I was really excited when I first saw this. And then Square Enix completely like destroyed any excitement I might have had for it. First Strike, it's not Ashley Birch who's going to play Chloe this time. It's someone else. So already, as someone who thought Chloe like was like the big, one of the biggest appeals of the first game, not having Ashley Birch voice her again just feels... I'm not looking forward to hearing another voice, and I don't really think the new one is on par with her. Secondly, it is not being developed by Don't Nod, which makes me nervous. And thirdly, it's a prequel, which I don't need a prequel. I don't care about what happened, like in specifically what happened with Chloe and Rachel. I know what happened with Chloe and Rachel. Chloe's dad dies, and she progressively turns into like a punk rock chick with blue hair, thanks to her being friends with Rachel, who maybe were lovers. I don't know. It just feels like Square Enix is just cash grabbing with this. Like, I'll play it eventually. Oh, and they have this fucking ridiculous deluxe edition where it's like, for a few dollars more, you get an extra episode with Max Caulfield before all this happened. I was like, fuck off. Just fuck off. I'll wait till your stupid deluxe edition is like heavily discounted before I touch this. I was so disappointed by all the stuff I'd heard about it afterwards. Middle-earth: Shadow of War, which, holy fuck, this looks good. I've already been impressed by a lot of the stuff that I've seen, but I think this demo really sold me on the different personalities that these orcs can have, or how far these orcs would go to like kill you. It looks so cool. And I love that one predominantly featured orc in the game, even though he talked not at all like I expect an orc to. He talked more like a gangster than a fucking orc would, but whatever. He was so... I forget the orc's name, but it was the guy that Talion tames after fighting him in the arena, and he talks like, oh yeah, governor, I'm gonna be your shadow. He's like that guy. And he was so charismatic and so funny, and I loved that character. I hope he is like a mainstay in the campaign. I hope like he is actually somebody that figures heavily into the campaign. Like, I hope he's just not like a randomly generated orc that you get. I want him to be the big orc that you get in the game. Like, he'll be like one of my favorite characters ever if he is predominantly featured in the campaign. So I want that guy in the campaign, that orc. Bring him in. Then they moved on to Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which I have no idea what the game's about, but it looks beautiful as always. And Ori. I've yet to play Ori and the Blind Forest, but I'll try it out one of these days, and I'll hopefully try out Ori and the Will of the Wisps one of these days, because I think these games look, as far as like art and like graphics and all that, they're like top notch. Just looking at them, like some of the best background detail I've ever seen in a game. And then finally, they moved on to Anthem, which they teased this at EA's conference, and they talked about how it was, going to be like this big showcase for Project Scorpio, and how I was surprised that this was the one that they chose to end the show with, because I gotta be honest, I did not think it looked all that good, and I think just this is okay. And Anthem, let's start from the beginning. Anthem is the long-rumored BioWare IP that's supposed to be like this MMO light game with by the likes of like Destiny and The Division. And at EA's thing, we only got this like small teaser for it, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna show it at Xbox's conference tomorrow." Whoa. And again, it's like a big showcase for the Xbox One X, formerly known as Project Scorpio. But the idea of EA, like one of the greediest publishers in existence, having BioWare, one of my least favorite developers out there right now, make yet another Destiny game, Destiny-like game, is so thoroughly unappealing to me. And I hate, too, that this was the game that doomed Mass Effect Andromeda. Like BioWare, like EA and BioWare were like so much more interested in Anthem that they completely screwed Mass Effect Andromeda. And I'll be really disappointed if this is the game that replaces Mass Effect as BioWare's most prominently featured sci-fi game. Like, I will be so disappointed if they get rid of Mass Effect for this, because as much shit as I give BioWare, I think Mass Effect, 2 and 3 at least, are fucking excellent games. Like, it doesn't even feel like BioWare developed those. Like, I think BioWare is good most of the time in terms of writing. I think they're really bad game designers, like in terms of like gameplay and all that. That's just me, though. But I just thought this was a really ill-advised finale. It was like it seems like this game really is not taking advantage of the developer's strengths. Like, we barely got a glimpse of like what the story is going to be like, or what the dialogue system, if there is one, the dialogue choice system is going to be like. And it doesn't look like this game is playing to their strengths. That's BioWare's strength. Writing, good characters. I did not get that at all from Anthem. And it didn't help, too, that it took me a while to realize that the dialogue I was hearing during the combat was that bullshit fucking awful scripted mic banter that everyone hates from when Ubisoft does it. And here it is as the finale of Microsoft's conference. I was like, what the fuck? And I was pissed when I realized that's what it was, because it fooled me. And that's why I hate these fucking mic banter, this fake mic banter, because it creates this illusion of dynamicism in the game that isn't there. Like, it's trying to trick your brain. It's trying to make the action seem more immersive and like intimate than it really is. Like, really, if you cut out all the fucking microphone banter, it's just 4 people shooting at aliens and diving off cliffs. That's it. Like, and again, it was like this really clean, this really squeaky clean demo that I did not get the sense was like real gameplay that we were seeing. I did not find it engaging, and I will bet anything that game is going to look significantly worse when it comes out. There is no fucking way that it's going to look like that. Because I don't trust BioWare at this point. I don't trust EA when it comes to these BioWare games. Because look how Mass Effect Andromeda was being shown off before the mess was uncovered. Look at like clean, nice, beautiful facial animations. Lots of nice, clean trailers. And then we get to Mass Effect Andromeda, and it's a fucking mess in terms of facial animation and graphics and design and all that. And it's just a flop. It was a disappointment. So then, like, Anthem comes in and has these beautiful facial animations, and everyone going, wow, these look so good. And I'm like, yeah, but we're not going to see the game in its final state until fall 2018. So I'm like, that's not good. Like, I do not have a good feeling at all about this game. I really do not. I have a gut feeling that it's going to be a big disappointment when it comes out. So, and again, it's not like this is a first-party exclusive for Microsoft. They didn't buy this game from BioWare. It's coming out on PC. It's coming out on PS4. I'll be able to play it on my PS4 when it comes out. If it turns out to be great and everyone loves it, I might give it a chance. I can buy it on my PS4 and play it then. It's not exclusive to Xbox. And them closing the show with this third-party game that I did not really care for. It was like a buzzkill of an ending. So that conference did not end well, in my opinion. Did not end with a bang. So overall, here's the thing I want to talk about. The meat of the problem that I feel like this conference was. One of the biggest issues with this conference is that Microsoft still has this vision that I do not agree with having, where they want to focus so much on these community-based games, these multiplayer games, that have not been working out well for them. Like, even their attempts to do story-driven stuff haven't worked out well for them. Like, Quantum Break flopped. But I don't think Sea of Thieves is the way to go. As good as it looks, I don't think Crackdown 3 is going to sell very well. I don't think State of Decay 2 is going to sell well at all. I think all of those are just going to flop. I mean, they may surprise me, but I don't think they will sell very well. And I think, again, Microsoft will be stuck in this rut where they have lackluster first-party. Like, if there was any place that made this more evident that Microsoft has a super lackluster first-party lineup, here it is. Because they had to go in and like stretch the word exclusive out to like the nth degree, where they came up with this new thing that I've never seen before. It was like Xbox One console launch exclusive. It's like so confusing. And I had no idea whether it was like exclusive to Xbox One, or if it's like a timed exclusive, or if it's like I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking doing this. And they were trying to like pad it out where they're like, oh, we're going to have 42 games and 22 of them are exclusive. And it's like, no, they're not, because I can get them on my PC. I can get them on PS4 maybe at a later date. They're not exclusive. It's like they're doing all these like qualifiers again. These little bits of like fine print coming into it, and that's not what they need. They need real good heavy hitter exclusives. And I like raised my eyebrows when they were like, "Hey, we have 22 exclusives." I was like, "Really? Okay, bring them on." And they just were like, "No." It was, again, it's the same thing that Sony did with Street Fighter V, except a little bit less, but a lot more here, where it was, "Hey, let's take PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and buy that out to be a console exclusive for Xbox. Let's buy out fucking all these other art games like Last Night and Artful Escape, have them be on Xbox One." It's like those aren't going to change the tide for you guys. It's not. And Sea of Thieves, not going to do it. Crackdown 3, not going to do it. I don't even think Halo or Gears would be able to do it anymore. But my oh my god, the most annoying part of this conference, and this is where I'm so done with this whole 4K crap. They were touting the Xbox One X to be like this big thing ever since last year. And I knew it. I knew from the get-go. Like, once the PS4 Pro came out, I was like, this is exactly what the Xbox One X is going to be. Yes, it is more powerful than the PS4 Pro. Yes, it can do true 4K resolution, whereas PS4 mostly relies on checkerboarding. But you have all these caveats come on later on. You have the fact that games like Destiny 2 will only do 30 frames in the Xbox One X. You have Middle-earth Shadow of War, which is only going to be 30 frames. You have Crackdown 3, a first-party game, which is only going to be 30 frames on Xbox One X. So again, like the PS4 Pro, they're settling for 4K 30 frames. And I guess they thought like they had this ultra-powerful console, and it's like, yeah, it's powerful, but like, why? Why would you spend $500 on this console? Like, I don't see a reason. Like, if you have a PS4, if you have a PC, I don't see a reason to buy an Xbox One X. You might as well just get a gaming PC. Pay the extra $500 and get a really good one, like a really powerful one. Don't settle for this fucking limited console. And I said the exact same thing about the PS4 Pro. I think these half-measure consoles need to die. I hope this is the last time we see these like mid-cycle refresh consoles, because honestly, I think both Sony and Microsoft focusing so much on 4K has really hampered their vision here. And now Sony, they can get away with that. They have the games, they have the blockbuster titles. They are kicking Microsoft's ass in terms of first-party titles, in terms of like console sales and all that. But Xbox really needed something different. It really needed a console that can do, at the bare minimum, 1080p 60 frames. I don't even know if it can do that for everything. We'll see. And again, like, they're doing dynamic 4K. Here's the language. They've talked for months about how, oh, well, it's true 4K. Well, not anymore, because now they're doing dynamic 4K, which is basically checkerboarding. Now they're talking about how they can't hit 4K on a lot of their first-party titles. It's like, Xbox had this chance. I was hoping Xbox really would come out swinging with this. But I've said this before, and I'll say this again. Raw horsepower does not equate to a better console. Let me make that 100% clear for the final fucking time. Raw horsepower, I don't care how many teraflops or pixels or HDR or 4K or liquid system cooling or CPUs or whatever, does not any of that make a better console. Get that in your head, Xbox. Your games are what make your console. And your games right now are not doing your console any fucking favors. Call me a fanboy, call me a Sony pony, whatever. But you cannot deny that this, like right now, in terms of general consumer osmosis, PlayStation 4 with its first party lineup is kicking the ever-loving shit out of Xbox One. And I did not see a goddamn thing in this whole entire conference that is going to turn the tide whatsoever. Did not see it. So, and they're going for this completely different message, which again, they're leaning towards the multiplayer stuff. They're leaning towards the community-based stuff, which, you know, fine, but I think it's the least interesting thing they can do. I think it's the wrong move for Xbox. And it's a shame, because I was really looking forward to this console, and this conference, and I just thought nearly everything involved with the Xbox One just fell flat. Just Xbox One X was just a flat, debut for me. The only thing that really got me excited, the only place where I think Xbox is kicking the shit out of PlayStation is backwards compatibility. Now, not only most of Xbox 360 games backwards compatible, you're going to get original Xbox games, which I think is awesome. What the fuck are you doing, Sony? Stop doing this 1080p re-rendered shit that you're going to crank up the price and sell for a ridiculous amount on PlayStation Store. We need actual native backwards compatibility. I know you've said in the past, oh, people don't want, you did that bullshit excuse, oh, people don't want new games, want old games, people want new games. No, fuck that. Do backwards compatibility, okay? It will look better. And another interesting thing was this whole cross console thing, where now I think it was the entire Minecraft and Rocket League community will be able to play on all consoles together except PlayStation. And PlayStation had this bullshit excuse as to whether, like, oh, we need to protect the community of our player. And I'm like, bullshit. Just bullshit. Work out a deal, okay? You'll get more people to buy your shit if you have a higher player base. It's common sense. And I think in those areas, Sony is being, like, completely stubborn and just, I don't like that. But everything else, Sony is just kicking the crap out of Microsoft here. I don't get it. I don't get what people saw in this conference. It was like, the first half was really bad. It had no megatons as far as games go. It was super disappointing. They relied way too much on third-party games. They stretched out the definition of exclusive to the fucking nth degree, and they laid bare for all the world to see how mediocre their first-party lineup is. That was Xbox. That was their conference this year. And it's not like PlayStation where they have a whole nother event for people to look forward to. No, unless they're going to make a surprise conference at Gamescom, which I wouldn't put it past them, because the last time they went to Gamescom was actually pretty decent. That's it. That's it? For, like, you spent a whole year hyping this up, and that's what you bring? Yeah, did not like it. They really dropped the ball here. So, final verdict on Xbox's conference, C. Definitely a C. It was disappointing. It was, like, by far, I think, the worst conference out of them all. It was way longer than it needed to be, too. I heard that they were going to make it like more than an hour and a half, which concerned me, and my fears were kind of realized, because they stretched that shit to an hour and 45 minutes. They could have easily cut out so much of this stuff. They could have easily cut out Assassin's Creed Origins. They could have cut out PlayerUnknown. They could have cut out Darwin Project. They could have cut out all the fucking overlong Minecraft shit. They could have cut out all this other crap. They could have cut out Anthem, have Anthem be at the EA thing, end with Ori and the Blind Forest, end with Crackdown 3, a long demo for Crackdown 3. Just, they needed to go out with a bang. They needed to begin with a bang, and they did neither. And the rest of it was just a very mixed bag. Most of it I did not give a flying rat's ass about whatsoever. So, yeah, did not like Xbox's conference. Call me a PlayStation fanboy. Call me Sony pony. Whatever. I was really looking forward to Microsoft's show, and they really disappointed me. I was expecting a lot more from this. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. That's Xbox. Let me know what you think of their conference. And next up is going to be Bethesda. That'll be a really short one. So anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Bye.